How did you get it? Did it come this way?
Okay. So today we are going to start with chapter 1.
Oh, I just
Did you guys get the stuff I shared with you?
I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yes. I'm good student.
Good student. You did your homework? Okay, let me see how I'm going to share this. Okay, so chapter 1 is really just sort of setting the stage for the rest of the Gita. So it's in management terminology, it's called defining the problem. So first you have to know what the problem is, and then you can find the solution. So chapter 1 is all about setting up the problem. And actually the thing is, even to understand that problem, is not easy. That also requires some degree of maturity, some understanding.
recording in progress.
Sorry.
What is that?
You have to get off 1. Yeah. Okay. So let's quickly first just go through the section very quickly, okay? And understand what are the different shloks and what are they saying. And then we'll spend most of the time discussing what has been said. Sounds good?
Yeah.
So the first chapter, the first 25 verses are basically just setting up the context for the war. And it's describing what is happening in the war. So here. So the first one, you remember we actually spoke out this, we recited this shlok last time. Dharam Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samveta, Yuyutsavaha, right?
Yeah.
So it starts by Dhritarashtra asking Sanjay, who's his minister, because Sanjay has this Divya Jyoti. He has got this special gift from Krishna Bhagwan that even though he is far away, he can see exactly what is happening in the war. He can go to any point in the war and see exactly what is happening because Dhritarashtra wanted to know and he couldn't see. So for Dhritarashtra to know, he gave Sanjay this Divya Jyoti. So Dhritarashtra is asking Sanjay, tell me what's going on, who are, my people and Pandavas. So this is, by the way, this also is something that, Swamiji remarked on because he said, my people and Pandav. So he was very much like, my people are the Kauravas and Pandavas are the others. So that is how he phrased it. Mama kaha Pandavas chaiva kim akurvat Sanjaya. My people and Pandav, what did they do, Sanjay? So that was his first question. And then Sanjay said, seeing the army of the Pandavas in battle formation, King Duryodhan approached his teacher Drona and spoke these words. I'm not going to go through the Sanskrit. Unless you guys want to recite some of these shlokas for your own self, because
No, need to go over it. We don't know
if
Sanskrit.
anybody is interested in just for the sake of getting the pun of reciting Gita, you can do that.
Sure.
Okay. So then he said, so Drona is now telling, Duryodhan is now telling Dronacharya that Acharya, please look at the great army of the sons of Pandu, that is the Pandavas, formed and led by your brilliant disciple, Drishtadyumna, the son of Drupad.
Who was Drupad?
I don't remember now. There are all these. I don't know what their relationship is.
बहुत
I
सारे
mean, I
नाम
know,
हो गए.
I just don't remember. It's in the book. So
Yeah.
I didn't want to
Drupad
spend too
was
much
actually
time
a
on it.
king, one of the kings. ਉਹਦਾ ਬੱਚਾ ਸੀਗਾ Dhritarashtra, who was also in the side
Drupad
of
the
the
Bachcha si Drishtadyumna, and
Drishtadyumna.
Drishtadyumna was one of the leaders in the Pandavas army.
Okay.
Then here are unrivaled experts equal to Bhima and Arjuna in battle, etc., etc. So he's describing each one now.
Who
So
was
he
Drona?
describes
Do you know who Drona was?
Oh, Drona was the
He
Acharya.
was the main teacher now of this thing.
Yes. Drona
Arjun.
and Bhishma, you need to know. So Drona
Yeah.
was the teacher
The
of both the
in
Pandavas
archery
and the
skies.
Kauravas.
Okay, fine.
So he
And then he
taught
was a
both the
teacher of
Pandavas.
what? I'm sorry, a
Huh?
Pandava.
Pandavas and Kauravas.
And
Archery.
Bhishma was the grandfather, so to say. He wasn't literally a grandfather, but he was one of the grand old men who was both related, of course, to both Pandavas and Kauravas, because Pandavas and Kauravas were cousins.
Right.
Okay.
So Bhishma was their grandfather, right?
Right. Not really the grandfather, but I don't know. I don't remember now the exact relationship.
Okay.
Mummy will, when she comes on the end, we can ask her.
Bhishma
Bhishma.
was, he never got married.
No, he never got
Bhishma
married.
Pitama.
He never
Yeah.
got married. He promised that he will not marry and not have an heir so that the
children of
Pandavas or the Kauravas can get the kingdom. Because his
Right.
father fell in love with the fisherman's daughter.
Yeah, Shakuntala.
She could, right, that one, I think.
And he also was given a boon that he wouldn't die till he wants to die.
Right.
So he can't be killed. But he was an institution
Hmm.
and very highly respected
Bhishma
person.
Pitama.
Hmm.
And these are important things because when we talk about it, we'll see why that's important. So basically over here he's first introducing the Pandavas, the army of the Pandavas, and saying these are all these guys, Drishtaketu, Chekitana, and whatever, Yudhamanyu. And then after he's done that, then he's saying, and many other warriors and our army also. So over here, first he introduces the Pandavas, then he introduces the Kauravas. And he says, whereas the learned amongst the twice born, please take note, he's addressing him. To him, he's saying the learned amongst the twice borns. Please take note of those who are important among ourselves, the leader of my army. I mention them in order to introduce them to you. Your honor, that means you yourself, Drona, Bhishma, Karna, Kripa, Ashwadhama, Vikarna, and so on. And many other warriors, all experts in warfare, armed with many kinds of weapons, who are determined to give up their lives for my sake. Okay. And then he said, our army, being larger and well protected by Bhishma, cannot be overwhelmed. Whereas the army of these people in front of us, the Pandavas, even though protected by Bhim, can be overwhelmed. So, you can go through this yourself if you are really interested in seeing who are all the people in each side.
Hmm.
I'm going to go back. Sorry, I'm going back and forth. Cannot be, and then stationed in your respective positions in all divisions of the army, all of you should indeed protect Bhishma in particular. So this is just instructions being given by Duryodhan, because Bhishma is the key guy, linchpin of their army. And basically he's saying that if we can protect Bhishma, if nothing happens to Bhishma, we cannot lose, because Bhishma cannot die. He won't die. He'll save all of us. So this is the first part. Then conches are blown. This is just now describing very
The war.
vividly the situation of the war. So now he says, Bhishma, the grandfather of the Kuru family, loudly let out a lion's roar and blew his conch in order to make Duryodhan happy. Then suddenly conches, kettle drums, tabors, trumpets, blah, blah, blah. The sound was indeed earth-shaking. Then Krishna and Arjuna, seated in their great chariot, drawn by white horses, blew their divine conches. Krishna blew the Panchajanya, Arjun the Devadatta, Bhima, the man of fierce deeds, and one with the stomach of a wolf, blew his huge conch, Pondra. Right? So then Yudhishthir blew his conch. Nakula and Sahadev blew their conch, Sughosh and Manipushpak. Prithvipate, which is now he's telling now Sanjay is telling back to Dhritarashtra. Prithvipate, that means king. The king of Kashi, an expert archer, Shikandhi, Drishtadyumna and Virat, and the unsurpassed Satyaki, King Drupad, etc., all blew their own conches. That terrible sound, reverberating through the earth and sky, pierced the very hearts of the sons of Dhritarashtra. So he's saying, these are all the first Bhishma and, Kauravas and their army blew the conches. Then the Pandavas blew their conches, and he's saying that the terrible sound pierced the hearts of Dhritarashtra. Yes, the sons of Dhritarashtra, that means the Kauravas. Okay.
Shikhandi was on the side of the Kauravas, right?
Right. All these guys.
Yeah.
So this much was about the conches, and then the scene sort of moves to Arjun. So then, with the battle ready to begin, seeing the sons of Dhritarashtra assembled, Arjun, who had Hanuman on his banner, that's what Arjun's banner had, a Hanuman on it, lifting his bow, said these words to Krishna. So Arjun said to Krishna, place my chariot, Achyuta. Achyuta is another name for Krishna, between the two armies so that I can view these people who have assembled here, desirous of fighting, and also view with whom I should fight at the onset of the war. You know all this. It's just,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
I wish to see all those who've gathered here with the intention of fighting, etc. Sanjay said, Bharata, that means, no, Sanjay is not talking to Bharat, which is Dhritarashtra, commanded thus by Gudakesha. Gudakesha is Arjun. Lord Rishikesha, which is another name for Krishna, placed the great chariot in the middle of the two armies, right in front of Bhishma, Drona, and all the rulers, and thus spoke, Partha, please look at these Kauravas who have gathered here. Then Arjun saw paternal elders, grandfathers, teachers, uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, fathers-in-law, and well-wishers too, assembled in the two armies. He could see both the armies, and he saw this.
Partha is
Partha is Arjun.
Bacha.
Arjun.
Yeah.
Call him Parth. Mm.
Parth or Partha.
Why do they have multiple names for all these people?
They have lots of names because
Yeah.
they actually
Various characters, I think.
and they also describe, depending on what they're asking the person to do, they use the appropriate name.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it's so I don't have that sort of knowledge, but
Yeah.
this is how they do it. So
Mm.
for example, they'll say Madhusudan when they have to describe Krishna to do something aggressive or violent. They will say Madhusudan, the killer of Madhu.
Mm.
So when he wanted Arjun to fight, he said Patanjaha. Sorry, abhi aayega. It means the killer of your foes. So he was
Sure.
saying, you, the killer of the foes, why are you so scared? Fight.
Mm.
That kind of thing.
I think the various characteristics of the person.
Right. Various characteristics of the person. So now, seeing clearly all the assembled relatives, Kaunteya, which is another name for Arjun, that means the son of Kunti, was seized with deep compassion and said this sorrowfully. He said, Krishna, look at these people who are my own people, well stationed in the battle, desiring to fight. My limbs are losing their strength. My mouth is drying up. My body is trembling. The hair on my body is standing on its end. Basically, he's saying, now all of a sudden, his mental situation changed. And he describes himself as the bow Gandhi is slipping from my hands. My skin is burning. I'm not able to stand up and my mind is totally confused. Keshav, I see bad omens and I do not see any good in killing one's own people in this battle. So basically, I mean, it's good to kind of reflect back on what the history of this or the context has been. So far, there has been no doubt in Krishna's mind, in Arjun's mind, that he needs to fight. And remember when they came back from their exile, they asked, they asked nicely to get back their kingdom, and Duryodhan refused them the kingdom, and they didn't want to fight, so they said, "Okay, give us 5 villages." I told you this last time,
Yeah.
right? So they basically they kept reducing their demands, and Duryodhan said, "I will not give you even a pinch of land. You just go back away, back into exile." So now the context is that there is something called Dharamshastra, which is sort of the book of Dharma, which they all followed, what Dharma prescribes. And Dharamshastra says that you should not, one of the big aims of Dharamshastra is they say that you should not have ahimsa, you should have ahimsa. That means you should not fight for your own selfish ends. That's one of the principles of Dharma. But it also says that if someone is being unfair, if someone is being adharmic, practicing adharma, then, and you've tried everything, you've tried all other means, and he still is not agreeing, then you should punish him, you should fight him, you should kill him. If it's an atatahi is a gross sinner, he should be killed. And the only people who should kill him is the Kshatriyas. It's Kshatriya's job, Kshatriya's duty to root out adharma from a society when adharma is there. So far, Arjun was pretty clear that what I am doing is rooting out adharma as part of my duty of being a Kshatriya, because the person in front of me, Duryodhan, is adharmic. We've tried everything. Even Krishna Bhagwan has gone and spoken to him on our behalf just to kind of negotiate. Nothing has worked. So what I'm doing is a dharmic war. I'm giving just punishment to an unjust man. That was the way he thought about it, and others thought about this war. And of course, it's more complicated than that, but that's the essential story. But then, when the time came for war, and he saw Drona and Bhishma, his resolve evaporated. And suddenly, he got into what's called a Dharam Sankat. Dharam Sankat means, I don't know any longer what is right and what is wrong, and I don't know what to do. It's a huge dilemma. And it's a very good reason too. And because Drona and Bhishma in particular were two people who loved Arjun, and Arjun loved them deeply. So in fact, actually, in the commentary, in Swami Dayanand's commentary, he mentions that Arjun didn't tell Krishna, put my chariot in front of them. He said, I want to see both the armies. But Krishna purposely took it in front of Bhishma and Drona, because he knew that that's where the biggest dilemma is going to be. And in a way, he wanted to kind of elicit, whatever issue was there, to precipitate it now, as opposed to deal with it, in the middle of the war. So that's where, and you can see that happening to Arjun, and it's very nicely described. He, you can imagine what the commentary, with his commentary was saying was that when the dilemma becomes so strong that it starts affecting your physical body, that means you're really in the throes of a horrible sorrow and a horrible dilemma. And he's describing Arjun saying, my limbs are losing strength, my mouth is drying up. It's not just an ordinary dilemma. So we go further from here. Then Arjun starts providing reasons for why I should not fight. And I'm going quickly through this because you know all this, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. We'll discuss it, and then we want to get on to chapter 2 and so on, which is the Gita. So he started saying to Krishna, I want neither victory nor the kingdom, nor comforts. Govinda, another name for Krishna. What is the use of a kingdom or of pleasures or of life itself to us? Those for whose sake alone the kingdom, objects of enjoyment and pleasures were desired by us, have assembled in this battle in front of us, having given up their wealth and their lives. Meaning, having given up is what they say, but it means willing to give up. They've given up because they know that it's an intense battle and chances of coming back alive are very, very few. Then he said, these are our teachers, paternal uncles, sons, grandfathers, etc. Madhusudan, Lord Krishna, even for the sake of ruling over these three worlds, much less for this kingdom on earth, I do not desire to kill these people, even if they are going to kill me. Janardana, what kind of satisfaction would be there for us by destroying these sons of Dhritarashtra. Sin alone would come to us by destroying these wrongdoers. By the way, just to clarify, Janardana is another name for Krishna, and Janardana means the one who dispenses justice to the Janas, to the people. So he's using that here, and he used Madhusudan up here, just to kind of, it's based on what he's going to say. Therefore, we should not kill our own relatives, the son of Dhritarashtra, destroying our own people, Madhav, another name for Krishna. How would we be happy? So this is his argument.
Dilemma.
Yeah, he's saying, this is the reason why I don't want to fight. Because what's the point of anything if the people for whom I have to, for who are most important to me are not there anymore? What's the point? There'll be nobody there, nobody left. So who will I enjoy the kingdom with? So this is his argument number one, his first argument. Okay? You understand? And I mean, you can well imagine, I sometimes used to think, if my grandfather, if I was a cop even, and my grandfather did something wrong and I had to arrest him and I knew he's going to be hanged for this, would I ever do it? Would I have the guts to do it? Right? It's a very, we may not face exactly this situation, but Arjun's dilemma happens in everybody's life. Some sort of dharma sankat always happens in our lives. Then he continues on. Then he gives another reason. He says, although these people whose minds are overpowered by greed do not see the defect in the destruction of one's family, etc., how come it is not considered by us who know better, who know that sin is born of the destruction of family? So he's describing here that what will happen is all the men of society are here, they're all going to perish. You're going to end up with a society without men. And women are going to have no source of income. They will fall to bad ways, and dharma will be rooted out of the society. So he said, even if you're saying that I'm doing this to protect dharma, by doing this, I'm going to bring adharma. So he says, when the family is destroyed, the ancient dharma of the family perish. When the dharma is lost, will not adharma overwhelm the entire family? Krishna, due to the increase of adharma, the women in the family will be given to improper ways. When the women become corrupt, confusion is born in the society. Confusion indeed leads the family and the destroyers of the family to a world of pain, etc. So by doing these wrong actions, now he's calling his actions wrong actions, those who destroy the family, creating confusion in society, the perennial dharmas pursued by the community and the family are destroyed. So we have heard, Janardana, that a life in the world of pain is inevitable for those who destroy the dharma of the family. So he's saying, you're telling me this is a dharmic fight. Actually, by doing this, I'm going to promote adharma because there'll be nobody left to protect dharma.
Could you please speak a little louder?
Oh, you can't hear? It's pretty loud.
It's very soft.
Okay. Is it soft for the others also?
No. Didi, तुसी
No,
अपना
it's
volume
fine.
up करो.
Volume है थोड़ा खींचा है.
Acha?
For us, it's okay. For me,
So
it's
having said this then, Arjun basically said, okay, I can't do this. He gives up his bow and refuses to fight. So he said, alas, ready to kill our own people due to greed for a kingdom and its pleasures, we are determined to commit a grave sin. That's what we are doing. It will be better for me if the Kauravas with weapons in hand were to kill me, who is unarmed and does not retaliate in the battle. Like self-pity is now pouring out of the guy. Sanjay said, having spoken in this manner in the middle of the battlefield, Arjuna, whose mind was completely overcome by sorrow, sat down on the seat of the chariot, casting aside his bow and arrows. Okay. So this is chapter 1. I'm just going to continue for another 10 verses of chapter 2 because it's the same thing. After the 11th verse in chapter 2, the actual Gita begins, but this is only to set the context, and so I'm just going to continue on to the first 10. So then Krishna exhorts Arjuna to fight. So first Krishna sort of, thinks, okay, isko kuch, he just needs a pep talk. So he tries to give him a pep talk. So Sanjay said, to him who was thus sad and overwhelmed by compassion, whose eyes were filled with tears and showed distress, Madhusudan spoke these words. He said, Arjuna, Bhagavan said, in such crisis, from where has this despair come upon you? It is unbecoming of an upright man and does not add to your fame, nor does it lead you to heaven. Partha, do not yield to unmanliness. This does not befit you. Parantapa, that means the flare. This is what I was looking for, the word Parantapa. It means the killer of the enemies. Give up this lowly weakness of heart and get up. Arjuna is not convinced. Then he gives a third reason. Okay. Then Arjun said in response, he said, Madhusudan, Arisudan, the destroyer of foes, two names for Krishna. How will I in this battle fight with arrows against Bhishma and Drona, who are worthy of my worship? Now that's what he really thought about them. It would be better indeed to eat food collected from others here in this world than to kill these most revered teachers. If I kill them, the pleasures I would experience in this world would be stained with their blood. He's really getting dramatic now. And we do not know which of these two will be better for us, that we should conquer them or that they should conquer us. The sons of Dhritarashtra, after slaying whom we will indeed not like to live, stand facing us to be killed. So overcome by faint-heartedness, confused about my duty, I ask you, please tell me, which is truly better for me? I am your student, Shishya. Please teach me who has taken refuge in you.
So, Nitto, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, if Drona and Bhishma were so learned and they were teachers, why did they not have any sense? I mean,
That's a
they are
very
teachers,
good
they are
question.
the
Actually,
gurus,
that's
right?
why.
No, they go and tell
No.
Dhritarashtra.
No,
I
but
mean,
I think it's a very valid
वो
question.
बोलते हैं दुर्योधन को कि don't fight, but he doesn't listen to anybody.
But then they're still fighting with him.
Yes,
Why?
exactly.
They should do
Because
the
they
right
have to be on his side. Because they were there. ਉਹਨਾਂ
Meeta,
ਦੀ side ਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ
Meeta,
choose
this
ਕੀਤਾ
is,
ਸੀ Meeta. They had chosen. They said, "You want the full army or Krishna?" And Arjun said, "I want Krishna." And he said, "I want the full army."
But anyway,
okay, because no, this is it's a very important bill. You can't be disregarded. This question is very important because and we think that it can't happen, but this happens. Wise people, they're institutions. They're like, you can look at your country today, institutions get corrupted. So hold on, let me just continue this. Let me finish it. So then, this is where, the context ends. So he says, indeed, so Arjun's profound sorrow now. So indeed, I do not see anything that would remove the sorrow that dries up my senses. Even if I were to obtain an unrivaled and prosperous kingdom on earth and sovereignty over the denizens of heaven. Sanjay said, so he says, he sees sorrow and he can't see a way out. Sanjay said, having spoken to Rishikesh in this manner, Gudakesha, Parantapa, both Arjun, said, I shall not fight. Speaking thus to Govinda, he became silent. Bharata, to him who was sad in the midst of both armies, Rishikesha, as though smiling, said these words. And from here, Gita starts. Okay, so we won't go there right now, but I want to make sure.
Let's go there. Let's do that.
First, let's understand what the issue is, really what the issue is. Because all these questions are very valid ones. So what is really, what do you guys think? What is actually happening over here?
It's a conflict in his mind.
Dharam Sankat.
Why is the Dharam Sankat?
Because his
the
dear and
emotions-
dear ones are there. Yeah.
Emotions.
Is it a legitimate thing? What do you think? You think Arjun should fight?
No.
No.
he should fight for his right. I mean, that's the
No, it's a legitimate question. I think it's a legitimate question to have. And, Krishna is going to provide the answers, but it's a
I
legitimate
know. That is why you're waiting to see what
Natural.
Krishna has to say.
I know, but we have to first understand the problem, Billu. I know you just want the answer, but do you understand the issue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why is this happening? Why is it that, all this while Arjun was fine, and all of a sudden he's flipped? Because he's seen Drona
Because he's seeing his teachers there.
Here and there ones, yeah.
So
But
should he kill those teachers? What is more important here? Is wealth and Raj and all that important, and he should kill the teachers for that? Like, what would you do?
the teachers are not real teachers because they don't have the sense. They are fighting. They shouldn't be fighting.
I know you can say that, Meeta. I know you can say that because they're not your teachers and your grandfather. But try to imagine your own relatives in that place and see whether you say the same thing.
It seems to me that doing the right, where it's going is that doing the right thing is more important than the other attachment things.
Yeah, and why do we not do the right thing? Like, why is it so hard to do the right thing?
Because we
Fear.
get emotionally
Attachment.
involved.
Fear.
Because we get emotional.
Attachments.
So the way Gita, or the way this has been set up, the tradition describes it, is the underlying issue here is that of samsara. What causes samsara? What causes this confusion in ourselves? They describe it as the difference between attachment and love. So attachment means when you want something, your love for somebody is for your own sake.
Mhm.
That I can't kill my grandfather because that will cause me a lot of pain. That's attachment. Or if my grandfather dies, how will I live? Love is not that. Love comes from strength. Attachment comes from weakness. And if you look around you, most of the time we fall prey to attachment, to our children, to our people that we love, to our house, to our family, to our wealth. We are attached. And when we are attached, attachment leads to two things. It leads to shok. That means it leads to attachment, by the way, is called rag. Rag in Sanskrit is attachment.
What is it called?
Raga. Raga dvesh. Dvesh is hatred, the opposite of attachment.
Mhm.
So rag is attachment. And raga leads to shoka. Shoka means sorrow. And it leads to moha. Moha means confusion. Both things come from attachment. Attachment means being overwhelmed by emotion. It overpowers your intellect. You cannot see straight because your attachment is so high. And honestly, I mean, that's why I'm saying, to me, this is a very, very interesting, very important, insightful thing, because if you look at your own lives, you will see attachment in multiple places. When love starts to stifle, instead of setting you free, it's attachment. So when love starts to bring you pain, it's attachment. There's a very interesting statement in the Manusmriti that I wanted to show you. Where is it? Yeah. So just the first line. It says, Sarvam Paravasham Dukkham. Sarvam Atmavasham Sukham. It's a definition of Dukh and Sukh. He says when everything is in the control of others, when for everything you're dependent upon others, it's the cause for Dukh. When for things you're dependent upon yourself, it's the cause for Sukh. What that means is that even in your attachments, if with other people, you are dependent on them, meaning, oh, I was so nice to that person and that person did not respond. मैं इतना अच्छा हूं, उसने मेरे प्यार को ठुकरा दिया. That person doesn't care for me as much as I care for that. That means you're dependent on that person. That's a cause for dukkham. It's attachment. But when you're helping that other person, when your love is, like sometimes, for our children, we have unconditional love. So there also is not always unconditional, but it can be.
Right.
Where we say, okay, We just want that person to be happy. That's all I want from that person, nothing else. And I'll do everything to make that person happy. You don't have an expectation back. That is Atmavasham. That's love. So attachment actually is the opposite, in a way, not opposite, but it's a barrier to love. So the way in Gita this is described, or the way in the tradition this is described, is that what Arjun was facing was attachment. And because of the attachment to Drona and Bhishma in particular, he could not see straight. For example, he could not see what Mita asked, that why have they chosen the path of adharma? At the end of the day, they chose the path of adharma. He couldn't see all that. He was full of sorrow, it's so intense sorrow that his body was trembling. And he was confused, because in his confusion, he started rationalizing. He started saying, you know what I'm doing is actually promote adharma. Because people are going to, the men are going to die, and the women will go corrupt, and the dharma will happen. So when you say it's better to, not take action against someone who's clearly adharmic and step away from justice, and you start rationalizing reasons for it, you're definitely confused.
Nittu, it goes so much against the way the Indian culture is all about sacrificing everything for everyone.
Yeah, it goes very much against our own culture. Maybe not Indian culture, because Indian culture.
Hindu culture.
Hindu
culture always says you have to sacrifice this for that one, the thing, okay, if you love someone, leave him for the other person, vagara, vagara. All they show in the movies and otherwise too. It's so against our culture.
Also, one thing is there, but very often they say, if you love that person, let go. बड़ी बारी मैं dialogue सुने, if you really love him now, then let him go, or let him, I've heard that also.
Yeah, but more than anything else, they tell us, oh, sacrifice this for so and so. If you do this, this will happen to them. Don't do it, etc., etc. So you have to sacrifice everything in order for other people to survive and thrive.
Didi, I think that is religion, that what Nittu was saying. Religion is different than spirituality. So what?
No, but this is what this is talking
That's
about.
what the Hindu religion teaches, right?
No, religion also doesn't teach that. We are getting the wrong
message.
We are getting the wrong message. See, sacrificing something for another person is not bad. There's nothing wrong in it. The question is, are you sacrificing it from a position of strength or for a position of weakness? If you're saying, okay, I can live without it, to me it doesn't matter, that person will be happy, give it, fine. But that's not what Arjun was saying. Arjun was saying all these things from a position of weakness, from a position of sorrow, weakness, attachment. He was saying he was caught in that trap. What was the source of his weakness? His intense attachment to Drona and to Bhishma. That attachment, that thing, that intense love where he could see nothing else. Because what was the source of the problem? He said, I can't live without them. What's the point of my living
when
they are not there? It's attachment. He felt dependent on them.
It's true that attachment weakens.
Yeah, attachment totally weakens. I mean, it's a form of weakness.
Yeah.
I mean, if Arjun had said, you know what, I don't, whatever, he genuinely felt that it was wrong to kill. It's not my job to kill. Someone else can kill. I'm fine. I'll just, whatever. If he genuinely felt that, it was different. If he genuinely, you can believe what you really believe, then there would not be a dilemma. His dilemma was because he didn't know what to do. He knew that the dharma says, I should kill. But he also knew that my heart is saying, don't kill. That's why the dilemma between his head and his mind. And he didn't know how to handle it. That was the Dharma Sankat.
But Nitto, it's also an evolutionary fact that human beings need relationships and attachments to a certain degree to thrive, to survive.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I don't know whether that's a fact. It's a fact of life that those attachments are happening all around us. And some people feel that, very few at any given time feel that those attachments are causing a problem rather than helping. And then they seek something else. They seek to look to see, what's behind it. That's why they go to the Gita.
Yeah. Also, I guess monks, when you become a renunciate, you do renounce those attachments and you do just fine.
But it's not renounced like a matter of will. You can't renounce the attachments. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
You can't say, okay, I will. You have to understand.
Yeah.
So what from here on, the most of the Gita, which is like another 650 verses, 652, Krishna is not telling him, no, just renounce, don't do this. He's giving him knowledge.
Yeah.
And at the end of that, he says, now that I've told you everything, now you decide whatever you want to do. And Krishna and Arjun said, okay, this is what I want to do.
We are hearing all these podcasts where it says social interaction is a way to live longer. Is that all false? Is that
Not at all.
scientific?
But see, that's what Meeta, that's good you asked, because that's what needs to be clarified, right? Gita is not saying that don't have social interaction. It's not saying don't sacrifice for others. It's not saying don't love others. It's not saying don't care for others. It's none of those things. It's not saying that. What it's warning us against is attachment. We have social interactions with everybody. Do you have attachment with those people? You meet so many friends. Do you really are attached to them? I mean, do you feel your happiness is dependent on them? I mean, we have so many friends. There may be 3, 4, 5 people in your life with whom you're attached, literally attached, meaning, in other words, you feel like you cannot live without them.
Mm-hmm.
And there, Gita is saying, don't be attached. Give love, but don't be attached, because attachment will bring you sorrow. Will bring you is weakness. If there's another way to interact, and actually attachment comes in the way of love. So what Gita is saying is love everybody. But what kind of love? That's what it's saying.
Mm-hmm.
If your love is only based on, and I mean, you have to judge for yourself what is right for you. But if it's bringing you more pain because you have expectations, you want the other person to behave in a particular way, and the person is not behaving in that particular way, and that's causing you anxiety and pain and suffering, then Gita is saying, doesn't mean you stop loving that person. It says, look and see why this is happening. What is the source of the sorrow in you? What's the attachment which is bringing you there? Are you being fair to both of you? Are you accepting the other person as that person should be accepted? Those kinds of things. Anyway, that's Gita's, that's what we've been taught.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
I mean, does this make sense to you guys, or you think this is important?
Yeah, it makes sense. Definitely.
Meeta, what about
that
you?
is the crux of the issue.
Meeta, badi chup
And
hai.
that's where I think what I have learned in the past couple of sessions, I've always struggled with this question of who am I? Everybody asks, who am I? And my interpretation of that question was entirely wrong. And the real reason, the reality, who am I, is really to have better knowledge of yourself so you can deal with these issues. That's who am I, not
Yes.
who am I in this earth and, connected and this and that. The real question is, who do I understand myself well enough to be able to deal with daily life issues? And that's, to me, that clarification is very powerful.
Yeah, and it's more of it is coming. We
Yeah,
just
yeah,
started.
I bet.
We scratched the surface. But that's very true, because attachment also comes with a lack of understanding of ourselves. The reason we
Yeah.
get attached is because we think that by ourselves we are not enough. That
But you
I
cannot
can't
taste
be
it.
happy with myself. I just need another person to make me happy. That's a misconception.
Yeah.
It's not actually true. Although it may seem like it is true, but it's not true. Meeta,
Yes.
what I want to ask you, what do you think? Do you agree or not?
Yeah, absolutely.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay. What about you, Madhu Didi?
I'm very confused about all this, honestly.
Tell
Sorry to
me
say
why.
that. Little slow on the uptake, but a little confused about all this.
So, in what way are you confused?
All this difference between love and attachment, and the only thing I understand now, the only thing I understand is do not have any expectation from anyone.
Hi Ram.
That's it.
Shubha.
Because
So,
that is really what causes a problem. That's the only thing that is sort of sinking slowly into me.
but Didi, why do we have expectations? Because Mummy also
Because
keeps
you
telling me
feel
that, and I have this argument with her all the time, that you can't force yourself not to have expectations. If you have expectations, that's what you have.
yeah,
How
I
can you
know.
force yourself to not feel something that you're feeling?
Well, because that's where your
Hurt comes in.
Hurt comes in,
your
right? So
Gita
you don't want
comes
to be
in
hurt.
saying that this is all mithya, this is all moha, this is whatever it is. Just because you did this doesn't mean that somebody has to do that. Eh, eh, I don't know. That's the only thing I understand. And love is selfish because that I understand, I think.
It's because of attachment. Love is selfish because we are attached to that person.
Yeah.
No,
And
love is not selfish. Attachment is selfish.
Attachment is selfish.
Right.
We
But
are all
again, love
attached.
depends on where it is coming from, right? If you say, oh, I love my husband so much, it is maybe because you are dependent on him or her
Right.
to be around to do things for you, right?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
selfishness.
Hmm.
I think that is
And
probably
not only to do things for you, but just the mere presence of another person. That is attachment. And it's true that we are attached, and we know that attachment is selfish because we do know and do realize that we are going to be, a little less without that person. So we are attached to the person because their presence is very important for us in every which way, whether it's for the love or for the things that you do, or just the mere presence of having. So that is attachment, which is true. I don't know if that is attachment and love are the same thing or not. I really don't know. I really don't know what is true love and what is attachment and what's the difference between the two. I
And
think that,
maybe we don't need to know in such fine granular detail,
yeah,
but the central idea, and this is why I was asking Didi, is that the underlying assumption that we are all making when we do this, we are all doing it. I mean, I feel the same way. The central assumption that we are making is that actually we will not be okay without that person.
yeah.
That's the central assumption we are making,
Huh.
right? And maybe we'll not be okay for a while, but will we not be okay? Is that actually true? Is it actually true that I will not survive if these things that I'm depending on the other person from are not there? So the essence, the thing about what Gita is saying is question that assumption. We are making some assumptions because we have made them all our life. And others around us are making them too. When we see our mothers and our sisters and our brothers, all of them, they're saying the same thing. Where are you getting this feeling of attachment and everything from? You're getting it from your society around you. That's how you started your childhood. This is what you got. In fact, we were told it's a good thing. It's a good thing to worry about the other person.
Yeah.
Because I remember my grandmother used to worry all the time. And we used to say, "Hey, kitni achhi hai, kitni affectionate hai. She's worrying so much about everybody. How big her heart is, she's worrying about everybody." Right? That's how we were, that's how at least I was sort of conditioned into this world. So this is where this comes from everything around us. But is it actually true? Is it actually true that I will not be okay if my circumstances changed?
It is true.
And is it
It's
actually
very
true?
difficult. Yeah, it is
Huh?
very difficult to imagine a life. And as much as we may say that it will not, but it is true. You will be incomplete, you will be sorrowful, you will be depressed. It's true. And I mean, we really have to evolve to get into that stage to say, okay, it will not. Because as of now, it does matter.
Do you want to evolve?
Yeah, you would love to, but it's not easy. I mean, that day I was telling you, Megan, Nittu, you're talking about spirituality and religion. I feel that if in this life we just understand that, okay, staying in Karam Yoga, and that is also enough for us. Asi kithe hale, we are not in that stage that we are going to say we have become spiritually so high. It's going to take a long time. Right now, we are very into the world, and all these things are important to us.
So
You can live in this world and enjoy the things and still be spiritual.
Nimita,
I mean, you don't have to leave anything to be spiritual.
No, you don't have to. But Nitu had said, ki being religious and being spiritual are two different things. I was thinking that for first step for us is to be religious and live and as a Karam yogi and do the right things before you cannot bypass that and go on to a spirituality. You have to go through that path, Mita, and we are yet not there. We are like right at the bottom of the ladder. It's a big way to climb.
I didn't understand. You said you have to go through the religious path, that
not
means
the religious path, through
puja,
the dharam.
go to mandir.
No, I'm not talking about mandir. Mandir has never come into the picture of religion. To stay, to be a good person, to live a life of dharma, to be a karam yogi, even if we can achieve that, for right now, it's a big thing. And
that
only
will
then
make-
you
that
can
is
go on to the next
spiritual.
stage of being spiritual.
I think that is part of being.
No, Nittu said na, that there are two different things: being religious and being a dharam yogi is different from being a spiritual person.
no. No, Karam Yoga is very much the path to spirituality.
So
I'm
that's what I'm
saying,
saying. We have to be on that path yet to go on to spirituality.
but to be a Karam Yoga, you have to know yourself. It's not two different things. The things that we are doing are all in order to become a Karam Yogi. What does Karam Yogi mean? Karam Yogi
You
doesn't
said
just
that
mean.
day, one day you had said that you don't need to be a Karam yogi to be spiritual. After you attain that, then you start
I said
thinking.
the law of karma. The law of karma is talking about if you do one thing, what material benefits you will get. You do the right thing, you do the punya and you will get pleasures. You do pap, you will get dukh. That's what I was. So the law of karma is not very relevant for spirituality. It's very relevant for religiousness because we want to do pun, right? I'm saying Karam Yogi is different. Karam Yogi means doing things because they're right without expectation. That's what Karam Yogi means. What's another way of saying without expectation is, I mean, Bhagwan ko saunp diya. Bhagwan ke liye kar diya. So that means without expectation, right? You're doing the right thing without expectation that I will only do this if I get this result. In a way, if Arjun was to sit back and say, let me strategize. मेरे पास इतनी छोटी आर्मी है, उनके पास बड़ी आर्मी है, उनके पास भीष्म है, who cannot be killed. मेरे पास कुछ नहीं है. Strategy would say, I don't want to fight this war. Let me withdraw. That is an approach, a strategic approach, to say this war is unwinnable for me. I don't want to fight it. He didn't go about it like this. He said the fighting is the right thing to do. So देखा जाएगा, जीतेंगे, मरेंगे, जिएंगे. I mean, whether we win or we lose, देखा जाएगा. But it's the right thing to do. That's Karam Yoga. So Karam Yoga is not different from spirituality at all. But I was trying to say that, yes, maybe the answers that you seek, when you're spiritual, the answer you're seeking is, who am I? When you're religious, like the religious people around us, only religious, then you're not seeking the question, who am I? You're seeking the answer, what is dharmic, what is not dharmic? मेरे को पूजा
What
कौन
is
सी
the
करनी
right way to
चाहिए?
live? What
Yeah,
is
how
the
to live
right
in the society around me, how to
not
be
only the society, what is the
interact.
right way to live so that you are not doing anything wrong, just to be a good person,
Just to
to
be a
just
good
do
person.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is not Karam Yoga. Karam Yoga is a little more than that. Karam Yoga means doing the right thing without expectation. A religious person expects. A religious person will say, मैं पूजा भी करूंगा, भगवान मुझे इसका
फल
रिवॉर्ड देंगे, इसलिए करूंगा बिकॉज इससे मेरे को स्वर्ग मिलेगा. That is religious. You do the right thing with an expectation of return.
You know, we were going through a puja day before yesterday, somebody's birthday, and they were doing Satyanarayan puja, and that's all about expectation, meaning give and take. I'll do this and I'll get this. I'll do this and I'll get
Absolutely.
this. It's unbelievable.
कहते हैं ना,
The
व्रत
whole
करो
of
तो ये
Unbelievable.
मिलता है.
This is
excuse
yagna.
me, the whole of India is on Satyanarayan, and it's all about that. It's unbelievable.
Tony Bhaiya, it's totally correct. Actually, yagna is actually the definition of a yagna is exchange. So in
Yeah.
yagna, what you do is you invoke a god, a particular god. Let's say you want children. So you invoke the god of fertility, let's say, and you say, tell a priest. The priest will tell you, you're the yajamana. You're the person who wants something. There is the god. We will give these oblations to God. So we will make the prayers to God. Because when you make prayers to the particular god, it goes to his quota of good karma. It goes to his quota of pun. So he can remain God longer. If a god doesn't get prayers, if the god doesn't get oblations, then the god will be questioned. It's like political donations. He can't bring any funds to the system.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you're doing is you're giving oblations to the god, so that, and you're giving some sacrifices too. पहले वो जानवर को काट के भी देते थे. And you're also, putting in all this tapas, which is all going into the quota of the god's puns. In exchange, the god will give you children. It's a
And it doesn't
completely.
make sense. It,
Huh?
Yeah,
it's
you know,
so
God's
what is
because
confusing to
God-
me is then Vedanta is completely different than the Hindu religion.
Yes, that's what I'm going to tell you
Completely
again and again. Vedanta,
How are they connected?
Vedanta is a thought. So here's the thing.
Is the
No,
philosophy.
philosophy.
By the way, it's not just Hindu religions. All religions are based on materialism. They tell you either through fear or through greed. They say, do the right thing. They're bribing you. Do the right thing. We
Yep.
will give you this in return. If you don't do the right thing, you will go to hell. So there's a push and pull. They are carrot and stick. That's what a religion is. It's a good thing because, in a way, because if there was no religion, people might be going crazy. There could be rampant atrocities going on. So compared to that, it's a good thing. And to be religious means, okay, now I toe the line. I understand what society wants. I'll do the right thing for society. And everybody is happy because everybody is in it for themselves. So I'm in it for myself. I want another person who's in it for himself too. But I know he's predictable. I know what he will do and what he won't do. He knows what I will do and what I won't do. The system will work. That's religion. Okay. I may be very cynical here, but that's religion.
It's true.
Nothing wrong in it. It's just where it is. Now, Vedanta or any spirituality means you've tried this religion for a while, for many whiles, not just a while. And you're saying there has to be something more than this. This is not right. This is not enough. Because it, in a very practical way, it's saying it's not taking my pain away. It's not taking my suffering away. For a while, it seemed like it takes my suffering away if I toe the line, but it doesn't really. And that you have to come to that maturity. You have to actually live a religious life or live an ethical life, realize that that doesn't answer all your questions. Then you come to spirituality. What Billu is saying is, I haven't even yet lived this ethical life. I want to live that ethical life. Then I will decide whether I want to go beyond that or not. But please tell me how to live an ethical life. That's what I'm saying. But that's not, she was talking Karam Yoga, but that's not Karam Yoga, but that's just living an ethical life. Now, Vedanta is a spiritual discipline, and there are many such spiritual disciplines which say, okay, let's go beyond this ethical life. What is really at the basis of human suffering? What causes suffering? And then you address that. That is Vedanta. Now, in India, this knowledge, this particular philosophy has been integrated into the Ved. So Ved now has two parts in India. There's an original front path, which is about ethical living. And there's a latter part, which is about beyond the ethical living. And it's beautifully integrated. And that's why it's called Vedanta, Ved ka Ant. The Ant of the Ved is talking about this. But it also says, just like Billu said, it also says, first you have to go through the former part of the Ved. In other words, first you have to live an ethical life. Then you will really be in a position to understand and really live the spiritual life. But that's a very sort of bookish thing. In reality, all of us are living ethical lives. We may not be doing yagnas, but we are living pretty ethical lives. If you were not living an ethical life already, you would not be sitting here. Really, you wouldn't be. The fact that you're interested in the Gita, that you want to do all this is because you are living ethical lives.
Vatsu.
And you're finding that even in that ethical life, life is not perfect. Now, Billu is saying, I'm not living an ethical life. Tell me more ethical life because I think I will get benefit from that. I can tell her more ethical life, but I don't think that's the answer. She'll still not get what she's looking for because she's already pretty ethical. Maybe a little bit here and there we all are, but she's an ethical person. Anyways, that's what I wanted to say. So that's how Vedanta fits in. Now, the same thinking, the same spirituality, if it goes to a Christian person, it won't be Vedanta. It'll be called something else. But it's the same thought. So essentially, the religions are also saying the same thing, and the spirituality is also saying the same thing. But it's no different.
Bittu, we talked about this last time. I think, in my mind, Vedanta is a universal philosophy.
Yes.
And that's why I was saying, why aren't the other religions also talking about it? Because really, this is the philosophy of humanity.
Yes.
And Suresh wanted to say something. I don't know what he was.
You got to remember, religion is man-made. Spirituality is self-made. Religion, rituals are all man-made. Spirituality comes to you from learning like what we are learning.
Yeah, but they're man-made too. I mean, it's learning, but learning of human beings, right?
Yeah, but it's again, there's a distinction between ritual formation of doing things versus getting the spirituality out of it. That's what Vedanta is all about. It's a self-perfection at the end of the day. You want to be self-perfect about doing things, which is not possible.
Say that again, Suresh. Yeah, I couldn't follow.
You see, if we follow just the religion, those are just rituals, right?
No, religion and rituals are not the same thing.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you here. There is rituals and there is spirituality. When you do the rituals, you follow certain procedural things given to you customary. Hanuman Puja karo, things will be fine. But when you get to spirituality, you can only get to spirituality by self-realization. And spirituality is what we need, and that's what we are learning. This is my opinion.
Yeah. No, that's correct. That's correct.
That's what we're trying to get to. If you do,
but I don't associate that religion means rituals. That is one aspect of a religious
It is
person that
not.
some people do,
It
but
is
not
not
everybody.
because
Yeah, ऐसे कि जरूर पूजा करना मिलता है. It can be. I don't think that religion and rituals are all the time together,
no,
connected.
remember, japa is a big part of life. To get to spirituality, you still need japas. Right?
You need
The japs, the Hanuman Chalisa,
Not necessary.
all the things, because that gives you peace of mind. When you have peace of mind, you can take the next step. If your mind is wandering, because it is always wandering, and if you are not focusing on an image, how are you going to know what the next step is? Because confusion in your mind is much more larger. Because a child mind is not confused, adult mind is confused all the time. We're talking, we're doing things, we're families. But when you do these japas, what happens is you get a peace of mind to focus on something else. Otherwise, you'll be not doing anything. How are you going to do spirituality?
Okay, I have a question. Nitu, is it really essential to do all these Hanuman Chalisa and artis and all? I don't do it. So is that really essential?
I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you think they're essential, they're essential. If you don't think they're essential,
if it gives you peace, then fine. If it doesn't give you peace, I don't think you need to do it.
Because you have to do the right thing. I thought that's.
Yeah.
yes,
I mean, I've
absolutely.
never done
That is what
artis
even
and
my thing was.
I never go to
lead a
temple.
good path. That is what's important, to lead a good life, not essentially to believe in rituals. कि मैं व्रत
But I
रखना
think
या-
Bindu, the question is, aren't you already leading a good life? What is missing
No,
in
I
your
don't
life?
think so. No, I don't think so.
Okay, tell me how.
No, we are deficient in many ways. As you said, we are still very attached. We are still very,
Okay.
no,
So
attachment is one thing, but also we are not all the time doing the right things. There are
What are
certain
wrong
times
things
when
you're
we're not
doing?
doing the right things.
No, but what are the wrong things you're doing?
You are not a paragon of virtue.
मैं उनसे
Okay,
कह रही
I
हूँ ना,
understand.
दीदी,
What's stopping
मैंने
you
लगता
from,
है कि पहले
you know
वो
the
हो
right
जाओ,
things?
पहले right things करनी शुरू करो, ethical living लगो. I'm not talking about rituals. That is, if it gives you peace, then fine. If Hanuman Chalisa gives you peace, fine. If Om gives you peace, then fine. I'm not talking about that. Whatever gives you peace, that is one way. But I feel that to lead a good life and to become a good human being is more important for at least me right now than to say, who am I?
But Billu, what's stopping you?
Stopping me is there are so many other things around the world, things which are happening, which don't let you go on to the right thing, but you do wrong things.
So you were expecting Gita to take care of all these things for you, and suddenly,
Yeah, I wanted to know what Gita says is so that I can lead a good life and be a good human being first of all, before I become who am I, what gives me pleasure.
Yeah, forget
all
about
these
who am
things
I. We are just talking about leading a good life. I'm trying to understand.
But that's what I felt.
Are you expecting
first
something
part.
different from Gita about what good looks like than what you already know?
I mean, I'm not expecting anything. I just want to know what it is that Gita says. That is what my thing was. Maybe it will tell me how to, as you say, you do the karams and don't expect the phal.
Yes,
That
that's
is
one
one
thing it
thing.
says.
Do
Absolutely.
the right thing. Do the right thing and don't expect expectation.
And why?
What gives you
But
sorrow.
I think that the difference is what this happens is we all know that the right thing is we should not have attachment, we should love.
It is the
We
right
should
thing.
not
But
have
are we practicing?
expectations.
No, but are we practicing it?
But listen to
We
me.
know
Let
it.
me
We
finish.
know
Then you
it
can ask me questions.
theoretically, but it is not practical. It is yet, at least it's not coming to me.
Okay.
Love and attachment have not become different in my mind.
Need to do.
Yeah.
No, I'm saying, so the difference is we all know that because हमको बताया गया है attachment नहीं होनी चाहिए, expectation नहीं होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? हमको पता है इसमें कोई रिस्पेक्ट नहीं है, हमको पता है results की चिंता ना करो, काम करो, that's the right thing to do. But we can't do it, right?
नहीं करते ना, हम अभी नहीं करते, पहले वो करना तो सीखे.
नहीं करते, हम कर नहीं सकते. There is a reason. The reason that you can't do it is because you don't see a linkage between doing this and some result. You actually don't see why, if I do this, it's going to be better for me. Right now, all you know is this should be done because people have been telling you this should be done. That is no conviction, Billu.
No, you're not doing things because people are telling you. You're doing things what you think is right.
Well, you're not even doing them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're not. That's something we have not reached that stage yet that we are doing the right things all the time. We are
What I'm
doing
trying to
things
tell you
without
is the reason
expectations.
I'm giving you a
Hmm.
reason for why I think you may not be doing the right things all the time. I'm talking about what I've gone through, right?
Hmm.
To do the right thing, you have to understand how that right thing will be of benefit to you.
Hmm.
If that right thing doesn't bring you any benefit, you will not do the right thing. The reason why you want to do the
Give
right
an
thing,
example.
huh?
Give an example.
For example, do you realize truly how by doing the right thing you will sleep better at night, that you will have peace of mind? Do you understand how your anxiety will be limited? Till you know that, certainly, that actually by doing the right thing, I am going to get a benefit which is bigger than the benefit I would get by doing the wrong thing, you will not do the right thing. It's just basic common sense. There's nothing. You don't need to do the right thing because Gita tells you, because you won't. You won't do the right thing because someone else tells you, because you will find ways around it. You will only do the right thing when you're convinced that that is the best thing for you to do in this particular time. If I am doing the right thing, if I am, say, teaching you Gita, if I'm going to invest all, 7:30 baje uthunga main, right? I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I know that for me, this is going to be much more beneficial. It's the right thing for me to do because it gives me more peace of mind than running after another sort of project in my consulting firm at this moment in life. So what Gita teaches you, and you have to be willing to learn this, is why the right thing is better for you. That's what Gita teaches you. It doesn't just teach you to the Gita ko keh degi, because if this is all you're looking for, I'm telling you, Gita will tell you that. I'll read the shlok to you, 2.47. Chapter 2, shlok number 47. कर्म करे जा फल की चिंता मत कर. Right? पढ़ लेगी फिर क्या हो जाएगा? एक दिन के लिए तेरे को ठीक
But
लगेगा.
need to tell me one thing. We keep on saying that, but have you reached that stage when you are doing
Why
karma?
are you worried about my stage? You talk about your own stage.
Anybody. Okay, I haven't reached that stage. I still,
You haven't.
when I'm doing something.
I'm trying to tell you why you haven't reached that stage. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Be interested in yourself. Okay? Honestly, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter whether I have reached that stage or not.
No, I'm not. You was just the thing. I was saying,
I'm just saying
any
anybody.
of us reach that stage.
But
that
why are
when
you
karma
concerned
karega,
about other
phal ki
people?
chintha mat karo.
What does it matter to you? Let them all be concerned about their stages. They're all doing things for themselves. Nobody is here because of you. Everybody is here because they want to learn something and make their life better. And so are you. So the question is, for you, you want to be.
I don't know what the argument is actually. I really don't know. Actually speaking, I don't know what we are arguing about.
Okay, guys, I think we are going to leave, but you continue. Nitu, you're done with the main didactic part of it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nitu, for my clarification.
Enjoy your trip. Safe travels.
Oh, thank
Bye,
you.
Didi.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, Didi.
Bye. Have a safe journey. Bye.
Thank you, sweetie.
Enjoy your show too.
Nitu, can you just clarify? So those rituals are not essential
Yes,
to reach.
they're not essential.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Absolutely not.
But Rupa, like what Nitu said, it is not you heard him and you feel good, but it's up to you. It's not up to Nitu to tell you.
I feel fine not doing those, but he's a learned guy, so I want it from him.
Oh, but one thing I want to tell you. It seems that your window is talking and not you.
I'm here.
So, Nitu, I want to add a little bit context to this, or maybe improve my understanding to this dialogue that just took place between Billu and you. So we know the right thing. I mean, we've been taught that since we were born.
Yeah.
Almost. That, attachment, doing the right thing, and not expectations, all that. But we are unable to do it.
Yes.
Is part of the deal because we don't understand ourselves well enough?
Absolutely. That is the whole deal.
That's the holy grail.
That's the whole deal.
Yourself, you got it.
But Nitu, you don't understand. You cannot understand yourself. In the last
that's why
you said,
Guru has to teach you.
Yeah. So, but how do you? So obviously that comes from lots and lots of teaching by the Guru, then only you will understand yourself.
No,
Right?
lots and lots of what the guru does is not guru takes you to the door. You have to enter yourself. In other words, what the guru or any guru or I or anybody will do is to point out certain things to you. Have you seen this? Have you seen it this way? After that, you have to do your own internal thinking and say, yeah, that makes
Self-awareness.
sense. It has to, that builds conviction in you. See, and when you say understanding yourself, the reason I understand and I nodded, but part of understanding yourself is, what do I actually need? What makes me happy? We don't really know that also. What makes me happy? What is my nature? What is it that I have? What am I missing? And therefore, what do I need to be happy? That is understanding yourself.
But some things you understand, right, Nitu? I mean, for example, for 90% of the people, I would argue that external validation makes them happy, as an example, which is not the good thing. But for 90% people, they kind of know that.
Well, 99.9% people, rather than 90, I'll correct you. 99.99% people, okay, there are very, very few who do not need external validation for whatever reason. But most of us need external validation. And not only that, our ideas about ourselves also come from external sources. We have not thought about it. It's a bhed chal, and we are in the bhed chal. Right? So
Billu, coming back to your question of I'm not doing it right now, that is where the whole understanding myself, if I can do that, that allows you to do those other things.
What are the things?
Meaning living the life the way she's describing. And, we are not going to get to detachment day one, but...
I know, I mean, it's very easy to say, but have we yet differentiated between attachment and love?
I'll give you an example. You let Rohan go to London, you let Rohan live in London, away from you, that is love. Because you let him do the things that he wanted to do. That is an example of love.
Yes. That's a very good example, Meeta.
Yeah, no, I mean, because she was saying, so anyway.
Meeta, that is right. Even for a couple, we sometimes say, suppose the children are not happy with you, but they're happy with each other. We say, we love our children as long as they're happy with each other, it's okay. We still love them. I do understand that there is a difference, but I'm saying it is not easy to follow. Attachment and love are very
you did it.
No, but it's not easy to follow.
It is
exactly. That's why we are here. Easy to follow.
Yeah, sure.
Nobody is denying that.
Learning.
It's verbally कहना बड़ा आसान होता है, but actually करना मुश्किल है. तू हर तीजे दिन जानी है ना राशि को, क्योंकि जो attached है तू love भी करनी है उन्हें. अगर तू कहते कि नहीं फिर नहीं होगा ना मीता. No, you love her and you're attached to her, so you do it. So it's not, I'm just saying.
No, you're right. You're right. But how do you get there is this path that what we are going through. That's how you get there.
Billu, what is the concern? Tell me honestly, what is bothering you?
No, nothing is bothering me. I'm just saying I just wanted to see how to live a good life, be a good human being, not hurt people, not do anything which is damaging to other person, try to live a life which can be, and then to better myself first, and then go on to thinking ki, okay, the other things what you were talking about spirituality. I just felt that life right now is more important for me कि मैं अच्छा बंदा बन जाऊँ. Be a good human.
You are a good person and you should not believe otherwise. Why would you say?
I don't think I am one of the good people. The pedestal that I put the good people in, I don't think I'm there at all. At all. I'm very much into the world right now, worldly wise, as you said, dependent upon other people's opinions. I want to get away from that.
Billu, I just want to say for the record, I think you are a really ethical, good person who does their duty. And I really admire you. Just take it for the record.
True.
I agree with
that.
I first it.
Me too.
Look at all the things you already accomplished and done. There's so much good in you.
Acha, chalo, I don't think
But
so.
you
Then
want to
again,
become better, which is
No,
good.
but Billu,
Just by the idea.
external validation. Yeah.
but
So,
see, you also even just see for yourself the little conversation we had. Where has it ended up? It's ended up to your impression about yourself, what you think of yourself, right? That's where it's ended up,
yeah.
and that's the root of the problem. It's not that like, and that's what Gita will help you with. It'll help you understand.
Whatever you're saying, but I still think that I am a selfish person. I still think that I have many flaws. I think so, and
but
it's
Billu,
true.
all of us have.
We all
It's
do.
always it's always about me, my comfort, my sleep, my holiday, my money, my this. I think I'm still very much into it. Being
We
very
all are,
truthful.
Billu. I mean, we are not sannyasis yet.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying.
Nobody is there. We are all
I'm
the
far
same.
away from that stage yet.
We all are.
So baby steps, it's okay, right?
All we were trying to do was to set up a vision, a goal. Okay? Maybe it'll take a long time. Maybe it'll take 2-3 jumps to reach there. That's okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I mean, the other thing we're saying is we are all in the same place. I mean, you may think that you are particularly selfish, but I think the difference is probably just in the grand scheme of things, very, very minor.
Yeah.
We are all in the same place.
We're all in the same boat. Yeah.
And Billu, it's not so absolute. It's not like I have to be totally selfless in order to move ahead. You only need a relative amount of good qualities, and you can work off of those. And we all have plenty of those. It's not like, oh, I have to be completely good and ethical, then I move to the next step. It's not like that.
Sometimes telling a little lie is for the good.
No.
Sometimes doing a little wrong thing is also for the good.
But at least I know this much about
I think
Sanjay.
Gita needs a special lesson.
It hurts me. I feel it. So I'm happy about that. If I've said a lie or if I've hurt somebody, it pricks the conscience. I think that is also one step ahead.
You're a good person. If you are not a good person, it would not prick your conscience.
We all love you, Billu. Otherwise, it's only because you're a good person. Big part of it. So many good people care so much about you. See.
Hello.
Anyway.
What impression people have about you and what impression you have about yourself. Maybe two different things.
And maybe people are more right than you are about yourself.
Okay, so I mean, I think we're done with chapter 1. As long as we understand the key messages that there is there's a difference between attachment and love. And attachment brings, so it's 3 things, right? Raga, Shoka, Moha. Right? These are our problems. These are called the problems of samsara. What's that? Sorry. So Raga, Shoka, Moha. These 3 are the problems of samsara. And the purpose of Gita is to help us address them. We'll all take our own time depending on where we are, but that's the idea. So now chapter 2 starts with the actual teaching of the Gita, which you already know, but we will go to it in detail, which is, chapter 2 is in 2 parts. The first part of the chapter talks about Atma, which is sort of trying to tell you about yourself. Because Krishna Bhagavan starts telling Arjuna about that. And the second part of the chapter talks about Karam Yoga. They are the 2 wings of Gita. They say Gita is like a bird, and the bird has 2 wings. One wing is Atma Gyan, knowing yourself, and the other wing is Karam Yoga, which is the sadhana that we have to do as an individual. So these 2 wings are introduced in chapter 2 in fair amount of detail. And then the rest of the Gita actually spends more time on each, gets into the nitty-gritty of each. Just remember these 2 things, Atma Gyan and Karam Yoga. Okay?
By the way, we saw this Indian movie, it's called Kalki. I don't know if anyone has seen it. Have you? It is about the son of, what's his name? Drona. Ashwadhama?
No, Drona. No, I don't know whether that's... Anyway, yeah, son of Drona.
You should watch that movie. It's very action packed.
It's
Very
Star Wars
and
Transformers and
All together.
all together.
Yeah, I
and
know.
it's about the curse that Lord Krishna gives Ashwadhama, that he will live for 3,000 years and suffer so that he can repent and whatever. So it's pretty interesting actually.
Okay.
अच्छा आपके reviews अच्छी ली थी, that's why मैंने देखी, otherwise I normally see it.
It's on Netflix, you should watch it.
It's sort of a combination of Matrix